Hey dudes and dudettes, welcome to another one of my totally tubular movie analysis videos. If you don't know me, what's your damage? My name is Luis. Today, we will be talking about Ferris Bueller's Day Off. As you can tell by the title, this is a very different kind of video that I usually do. What compelled you to make such a video like this, Luis, you may ask? And I am just gonna be honest, frank, and even a little vulnerable, and say that this movie was a concept that I got while I was watching this movie with friends. And if you must know, yes, I was in a certain state. I've been debating on exactly when to do this video because this is quite self-indulgent. I'm not really making money from my videos just yet, so every video I've made has been self-indulgent to some extent. But with this one, I just want to have fun, even if this is a pretty far reach and I'm not always making sense. With that said, this video is for fun. I am not digging my heels in the sand and saying my interpretation of Ferris Bueller's Day Off is the only correct interpretation. This is simply viewing the movie through a different lens, a very playful what-if scenario, if you will. Given the nature of the video and how old and well-known this movie is, I won't bother going through the whole plot. But for those of you who've avoided this movie for your entire life and don't know the premise, I will give you a very brief overview of the movie. Ferris Bueller's Day Off is a film written and directed by John Hughes, who is the father of the 80s teen movie. He's written and directed Breakfast Club and 16 Candles. He has also written other films such as Pretty in Pink, Home Alone, and Beethoven. Ferris Bueller's Day Off is a film about charismatic teen Ferris Bueller pretending to be sick to skip school and brings along his best friend Cameron Fry and girlfriend Sloane Peterson. They go off to the city of Chicago, where they go to the museum, see the sights, eat at a fine dining restaurant, see a parade, and take a joyride in Cameron's father's fancy, restored antique car. Ferris must also avoid getting caught by his parents, found out by his principal, and tattled on by his sister, who never believed his act from the start. Hughes himself said this film was his love letter to Chicago. In the movie, he didn't just want to capture Chicago in landscape and architecture, but also in spirit. We are going to start with character analyses of the three main characters, really talk about what makes each character tick. The first character we are going to talk about is Sloane. Sloane Peterson is a junior in high school, a cheerleader, and Ferris's girlfriend. Unfortunately, Sloane doesn't have many lines for us to really get an idea of who she is as a person. Unless someone is talking to her, she usually isn't speaking. We're forced to make assumptions about her just based on her vibes. She is the outline of the cool girl.
Cool girl is hot. Cool girl is gay. Cool girl is fun. Cool girl never gets angry at her man.
She is down for anything. Sloane is totally down for Ferris's shenanigans and even loves him for it. She is incredibly dignified and has an air to her that is beyond her years. She seems effortlessly beautiful. Because she says so little, there's a mystery to her that makes audiences project their feelings onto her. It is sad she doesn't have as many lines because she seems just as clever as Ferris. When she's introduced, she never bats an eye or gets flustered when she's caught in the middle of one of Ferris's plans. In the German parade scene, there was a part of her conversation with Cameron that got cut. She asked Cameron what he thought he was in a past life. She didn't know who she was in a past life, but could answer who she thought Ferris might have been. She said he was most likely a man like Magellan, who traveled the whole world. There's a little more to her than just being a pretty face. This is probably why she and Ferris work so well together, and probably why out of all the pretty girls he could have dated, he chose to date Sloane. Cameron Fry is a senior in high school, Ferris's best friend, and most likely a hypochondriac. Unlike Ferris, Cameron is anxious, pessimistic, and in Ferris's own words, a tight ass. He doesn't take many risks and fights Ferris every step of the way throughout their day off. He's deadly afraid of inconveniencing his parents. Overall, he is neglected by them. He comes from money. Hughes signaled several times in the movie that Cameron does not have a strong relationship with his mother. Also, the fact that he barely mentions her. This scene in the museum, Hughes wanted to show this painting because he thought it related to Cameron, showing the tenderness of a mother to her child, which Cameron lacked. In this scene, he stares into the George Seurat painting, which again is of a mother and a child. He looks closer and closer at the painting and he sees less and less, which is the nature of a pointillist painting. Cameron fears that if you look closer at him, you might see less. He fears that he has no personality, no substance, no individuality. He fears that his subservience to everyone will erase him. Another interesting tidbit is one of the deleted scenes, of which we do not have footage. The three of the teens are on a riverboat. Cameron, out of the blue, asks the others if they're worried about nuclear war. This is very much in Cameron's character to worry about these things and bring it up on such a day that is supposed to be fun and stress-free. I'm not surprised this scene didn't make the final cut because this breaks the carefree tone of the film. At the end of the movie, Cameron wrecks his dad's car, which he said his father loves more than Cameron. He decides to own up to it and take all the responsibility for it. The movie is named after Ferris, but Cameron is really the person that grows in this movie, him and Shauna. He learns to not let his anxieties dictate his life and decisions and to learn to take chances. Facing that fear is how he takes his first step in doing this. Now, we are finally on the namesake of the entire film. Ferris Bueller is a high school senior and much too charming for his own good. He's a mama's boy and a daddy's boy, and he is well beloved within his community of his high school peers. All the adults even know him by name. The only one who doesn't seem to really like him is his sister, who doesn't actually dislike him, she just hates how he can get away with so much. He's incredibly clever. He's thought of many ways to fake being sick. He puts all these sick sounds on his electric keyboard and called people at his school to advertise the fact that he is sick. He was able to hack the school's records and change how many days he was absent. He even constructed all these fail-safes for if anyone were to ring the doorbell or go up to his room. He was even able to convince this fine dining maitre d' that he was a person on their reservation list. In the movie, Ferris is famous for breaking the fourth wall and in the beginning talking right to the audience, introducing himself to us. Ferris has a strong carpe diem mentality. He's known for his famous quotes,
"Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it."
He also mentions he doesn't believe in isms. This was after he had mentioned he didn't care if Europeans were fascist anarchists. When thinking of the idea of taking a test on European socialism, I would say that this speaks to his carefree nature. He's a teen. He's a little short-sighted in some ways, but very profound in others. Yes, it is not the smartest thing to take so many days off from school in the long term, but also in the long term, Ferris knows that life is fleeting. If you don't take initiative to live, you could miss out on too much. There is subtle implication that Ferris is some kind of chaos god, which I love. His breaking of the fourth wall implies he is speaking to us because he knows that we are watching him. He knows exactly what Cameron is thinking while he was calling him on the phone.
I'm dying. You're not dying, you just can't think of anything good to do.
This could be how well Ferris knows Cameron, but this could also work for the Chaos God theory. Also, at the end of the movie, Sloane asks Ferris if he knew exactly what he was doing today. He playfully disagrees. This implies he planned/knew exactly what was going to happen that day, just so he could teach Cameron a lesson about taking chances. Sorry to interrupt this lovely video. I just want to let you all know I am still not getting much money from YouTube, nor do I have a big enough following to justify making a Patreon just yet. So I decided to sell things on Redbubble. Do you love absurdity? Then these products are for you. Here's a button mash shirt. Here's a button with a button mash on it. Have you ever gotten up in the morning and thought, man, I wish I had a shirt with a picture of a beaver that says whore on it? Neither have I, but I made this shirt anyway, as well as this pillow. There's also this very real quote by Julius Caesar that I put on a shirt. So if you would like to support me directly, help make YouTube my job, and get a plethora of products out of it, please use the link in the video description. If none of these products interest you, but you still want to give me your support, my Venmo is also listed in the video description. Now back to our regularly scheduled programming. Now, let's get into the juicy bits, the very reason why you're here, the feelings these three characters have for each other. Let's start with the most obvious, Ferris and Sloane. There's no debate that Ferris and Sloane are together. It is explicitly stated in the movie that they are dating several times. My input on the relationship would be that they are incredibly mature, not necessarily that they are mature for their age. Ferris impulsively and casually proposes to Sloane in the middle of the movie. But I am talking about how good they are together. There is a security in their dynamic that is not usually shown in teenage relationships. There is no doubt in Sloane's mind that Ferris adores her, and vice versa. John Hughes modeled the relationship after the relationship he had with his wife. They were high school sweethearts and always hanging out with each other with his best friend. I'm assuming Ferris and Sloane would be an incredibly idealistic version of Hughes' relationship with his wife. So now we have Sloane and Cameron, which is a little tricky because they don't have many interactions when it is just the two of them. At some point, I thought of scrapping the idea for this video with how much Ferris and Sloane were pairing off. But when we got to the parade scene, I started seeing some chemistry between the two of them. One thing that I want to address before we go on is the camera. In this scene, the camera seems to deny us the full context of their true relationship with each other. Right here, we have Cameron and Sloane maneuvering through the crowd. Their lower halves are cut out of the shot, but here we see that Cameron's hand is extended a bit. This might mean that they were holding hands. I didn't think much of this at first, but then after they have their little conversation, Sloane puts her hand over Cameron's shoulder and the camera just cuts. This started feeling deliberate. The camera is hiding the full context of what is really going on between them. This could have easily led to a kiss on the cheek or an embrace. There is also this mutual love for Ferris in this excerpt from the scene that was cut from the parade scene. Sloane says that she loves him, referring to Ferris. And Cameron responds with, "It's hard not to." Ferris is what brings them together. It's not a very far reach to say that Cameron liked Sloane. It's obvious in how he looks at and talks to her. While he's catatonic, Sloane tends to him very lovingly, caressing his face, which Ferris has nothing to say about, by the way. John Hughes in his commentary also says that he believed Sloane knew if she dated Ferris, she would get Cameron as well. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you think we were done? Oh no, sweetie, there is still more to unpack. Yeah, this isn't going to be just an argument that Sloane likes the two boys. Ferris and Cameron like each other as well, and I'm going to tell you why I think this is.
Gay tangent, everybody. Gay tangent.
First of all, the first interaction we have between the two of them, Ferris calls Cameron babe.
Hello? Cameron, babe, what's happening?
Was this a thing in the 80s? Did guy friends just casually call each other babe? Even if they did, I'm sure it was only the open-minded people that we've established that Ferris is. In the phone call, Ferris knows exactly what Cameron is thinking. He also predicts what he is going to say, something they never did with Ferris doing with Sloane, might I add. The scene where I mostly base my argument is the scene while they are on the phone trying to fool the principal. First, the way Ferris looks at Cameron. The first glance is fine, but the second? I would say that's a very tender glance. When Cameron tells Principal Rooney to do something that would complicate Sloane's pickup, Ferris kicks Cameron in the butt. Cameron wanted answers to this immediately. This becomes a very serious conversation. A little too serious, if you ask me. It feels like a couple fighting. Ferris, for the first and only time in the movie, loses his suave charm and carefree attitude. He knows he did something wrong, and it seems like he is genuinely afraid of losing Cameron. He denies he did anything wrong, but again, it's not genuine gaslighting as this charismatic character Ferris puts on. He is now sheepish and vulnerable. Cameron then tells Ferris that he deliberately hurts his feelings, Ferris immediately denies, again sheepishly. Cameron tries to leave and Ferris goes chasing after him. Just look at Ferris's face. He seems so worried that he'll lose Cameron. His tone of voice even changes. It's so gentle. He even tells Cameron he didn't mean to lose his temper. Ferris even holds him by the shoulders to say this. Cameron asks if he's serious. Again, with all the dramatics, this is not a regular friendship. Then we have the camera cutting things off again, very conveniently at this moment where they're making up. They could have given each other a little tender embrace. I want to address the part of the movie where Ferris tells the audience that Cameron has never been in love and no one has ever loved him. I want to talk about censorship. There are times when creators want to tell queer stories, and production companies, publishers, and the general public in general will not let them. Creators will just stuff a story chock full of queer subtext, and the creator will put something in the story to negate all of this to appease censors. For example, in Beastars Season 2, a video that I have made on my channel, by the way, you guys should check it out, there is a character named Carl, where it's insinuated that he had a thing for this character Tem, but it's revealed he had a girlfriend pretty much right after we see this picture. One of my favorite series from when I was a teen is Negima, and there are two characters, Setsuna and Konoka, who are very heavily insinuated to have feelings for each other. But at the end of the original manga, they say they both get married to men when they get older. However, in a later installment of the series, the subtext for them having feelings for each other really did not feel like subtext. Another example would be the most recent adaptation of Little Women, which builds up for the entire movie that Jo is asexual. Then at the end of the movie, she marries a man. I would argue this line could be an attempt at censorship to prevent any possible criticism that this film might get. So in this case, it would be to distract people or put the audience at ease. Like, see, there isn't any non-monogamy going on in this God-fearing Christian film. Of course these young lads aren't a little too close. The nerdy one has never been in love a day in his life. Never been loved at all.
Never been loved at all. Never been loved at all.
Now, let's categorize what type of relationship the teens would be in. I would say they are in the beginning of the makings of a throuple. I wouldn't say they're in a throuple just yet. I would say there is definitely a lot of chemistry within all three of them. However, I don't think they are in a relationship just yet. I could see them making it official down the road. And I think Sloane would be the one to initiate this. It would be kind of a challenger's situation. She would facilitate the whole thing. The scene where Sloane asks Cameron if he saw her get undressed, obviously she's not embarrassed because she was kind of into it. Even Ferris is laughing at it at first, but then we see just a short second where he rolls his eyes, kind of upset that Cameron was peeping at his girlfriend. So I don't think they're all involved with each other just yet. That rolling of the eyes could also mean he's a little jealous that Cameron doesn't just like Ferris. These mixed, contradicting feelings are very common with people who haven't come to terms with their own sexuality yet. But this smile means that he's open to it. There were plans for a sequel to Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but they were scrapped early. Who knows if they would have gone even further with the subtext, but unfortunately, we will never know. All in all, I think Ferris Bueller's Day Off is a very fun teen movie where really not a whole lot happens if you think about it. John Hughes said he focuses on relationships of the characters, and I am simply observing the material that John Hughes has put in front of me. So I thank you for hearing me out, even if you are humoring me in my tinfoil hat moment. I appreciate the view nonetheless. If you agree or disagree, let me know in the comments. Also, I'm really interested to hear any of your points that are adjacent to mine, like not the same but a little different, or let me know if you think I missed anything. I've seen some of those in other videos, and I love reading and even replying to those comments. Again, thank you so much. I've been Luis, your luscious video host, and I hope you take care.